Under new government internet safety rules published today, misleading images posted on social networking sites have to be removed within 24 hours of receiving a complaint. Companies will also be forced to apply far more effective privacy settings for parents to use on search engines so young people don't accidentally stray onto pornographic or violent sites. So, in the light of all these sort of changes, do you think that cyberspace has made the world a better place for children?
Yes and no. I think we have it on television. You know, you watch what your children watch on television, and you have it in films. I think the problem is that there's a gap between the age group that have learnt computer technology and are aware of what's going on, and lots of parents who still have nothing to do with a computer and therefore think, well, I don't know, it must be fine, and let their children access all sorts of stuff. The thing, which is dangerous, the thing that worries me about it all is that they never seem to go out and live life now. It's all virtual. You know, you need to get out there as well and actually talk to people. What's the point of talking to nobody?
I also think that's why there's so much obesity as well, because kids are just, they're just couch potatoes, aren't they? Computer potatoes.
And also, it was quite scary, you know. There is a lot to be worried about as a parent on the internet, but there's a lot to be worried about in real life. I don't think it's increased, I just think you hear about it. But I mean, I used to walk home 2 miles in the dark, and inevitably, one night, I got attacked, as it were. Not badly, but enough to make me very conscious that it was quite a dangerous world. But if you don't go and do some of these things, you're never going to learn.
I think parents are more worried now. I mean, how old were you when you were walking home by yourself?
Because about 33. Yeah. I was 13, you know, and in the countryside, and it was a very scary thing, because I used to walk through the village, and there were lights, and I'd come out the other side, and I knew I'd got another half a mile to walk, and I knew I was being followed. And do you turn around? And in fact, I turned around and faced him, and you know, whatever. But my parents just didn't think about it then. But equally, your child now, when you know, you were talking about this, a click away from disaster.
As the mother of an 8-year-old who was phoned up by the after-school club to say that your child's been trying to access a blocked channel, and that was Tim. No, it wasn't. No. Basically, what he'd done with my godson Harrison is they'd looked for some program called RoodTube, and they had spelt it incorrectly. It's a couple of years ago, R-O-O-D. It then came up, do you mean this tube? With one click, it went on to porn. And what gets me is that you phone your local railway station and you've got to go through 20 clicks and 20, you know, before you get to know what time the bloomin' 10:11 to Euston is. But in one click, he was onto that. So as a curious 8-year-old, I tried to go on it when he was at the after-school club. But I mean, as a computer nightmare, my eldest son said to me the other day, who's 20. And he said, Mum, because I was freaking out about something, he said, Mum, you really are going to have to get with the programme, because otherwise you're going to become a bitter and twisted old woman. Because what I'd done was gone on to my normal Sky thing, and I now can't watch the television, which is just a black box like that. It's not a, you know, trendy one. I was quite happy going up to my bedroom, not very well the other day, putting my television channel on, because in the olden days, you could go channel 1, 2, 3 or 4, and a programme came on, right? And then you could press stop and it went off. I was happy that. Now I can't, because I haven't got a free view box. I don't want a free view box, and I got myself all het up about the free view box. And Matthew came in and said, what's the matter? And I went, I just want to be able to go channel 1, 2, 3 or 4. And he went, Mum, you are so going to have to get with the programme.
I absolutely get all that you say, and of course there is a fear, and again, as another mother of an 8-year-old, I have similar fears for my daughter. However, we can't not accept the fact that there is a huge educational greatness to the internet. And my daughter came home, she'd been on a school trip and was so excited to immediately get on the website of the Florence Nightingale Museum, because that's where she'd been, and I've got to show you what we saw, Mummy, and it's really exciting. And that kind of sharing and learning, and even at 8, starting to look up things for her homework, you know, I think is fantastic. So there is obviously a good side, and there is a worrying side.
As long as you keep controls of it, because as the mother of another 8-year-old, what went on 9 years ago?
The whole night.
You know, obviously the same sort of thing. Finley's starting to use it, you know, to look things up for homework and this sort of thing. So I have, you know, you can put the parental controls on. I've sort of split my computer in 2 bits. So I'm really good. I just sort it down the middle. He has that half. So it means that he can't accidentally stray onto that. Actually, it was after you told me that story.
About Louis.
Yeah, about Louis. Yeah. But even Amy's using a computer now at nursery. I was absolutely flabbergasted. I mean, she's 3. And you go in, and it looks like you've walked into some sort of bizarre, futuristic experiment. And there's all these tiny little kids, practically in white coats and glasses, going, yes. But you know, you got to go with this. It's what the kids are doing now.